So, Vince, where did I guess I guess with most interview, let's maybe start from like the beginning.
Okay.
Like not from your birth
Birth.
maybe, but yeah. Like when did you know that you wanted to become or you had the inkling of becoming a musical artist?
Hmm. I mean, I started writing music when I was probably around, I would say like 11.
Okay.
Um, I wrote my first song. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It
Do you
was
remember
actually,
what it was called?
yeah, it was actually called Crap.
Crap.
I wanted to write a
Nice.
song for Avril Lavigne.
There you go. Oh,
And it was like this little me on this little small guitar that my grandmother bought me when I was 11, and
okay.
me singing this like little pop punk track called Crap that I wanted to give to Avril
Yeah.
Lavigne. But prior to that, I mean, growing up in like a super musical family, I'd always kind of been surrounded by music.
hmm
But I think at like 11, I was like, this is really what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though you don't, do you play instruments now?
I can play keys just to like write music, and I can play guitar
Okay.
a little bit, but I wouldn't consider myself an
Nice, nice,
instrumentalist.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's more than most of us can do. So certified musician,
Yes, stamp it.
certified, certified. So like, well, what age is 11 or 12? What grade is that? Is that like,
I think that's like maybe beginning of junior high.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Had
think
you
like
always
sixth,
liked
seventh
music
grade.
or
Yeah,
like
I
that
mean,
was just
I
an interest or?
it was such a big thing to me. Like I said, I missed my family was very musical growing up. You know, like my auntie is the singer and she's done a lot of different stuff,
Oh, okay.
mostly in the commercial world. um, her name is Carmen Carter. She's done a bunch of stuff like she sang the Moesha theme song, the Sister Sister theme song,
Time out.
and
What?
Mr. Cooper. Yeah,
Oh,
like
for real?
oh yeah, like she's done a lot, and she's been in the industry for a very long time. So I think just seeing her kind of grow as a more of a commercial vocalist,
Okay.
I've always kind of looked up to her and her work ethic.
Okay.
And I think just hearing my family sing and always singing in the back of the car, I think I just was kind of like being in choirs and things like that. I just loved music and always
Yeah.
moved me in a different way. So I definitely was like, yeah, I just want to write music. I want to sing. I love doing harmonies. If you listen to my music, you'll hear like 50 harmonies stacked.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Very
so yeah, it's
prevalent.
just something that I love very much.
Yeah. So you kind of had, I guess would you say your aunt was like your first influence or like was there
Yeah, I definitely think
kind of like a,
vocally, she's definitely a big influence for me.
mm-hmm.
Um, I think also, you know, my mom and my dad listen to a lot of like oldies, like the Temptations and
Oh, okay.
Supremes and a lot of really old music. And
Yeah.
my grandparents too. My grandparents were really into like rock. They were really heavily into like Bruce Springsteen. They were really into
Mm.
the Rolling Stones, Sting. So I kind
Ooh,
of and my grandmother loved Sade, who's one of my favorite artists of all time. So I think
yes.
I just was kind of like introduced to a lot of different music growing up. And then when I got a little bit older, I went through my phase of like being heavily into Nine Inch Nails, like
Oh,
heavily into
we
Incubus,
might have to
heavily
tap
into
into that.
Portishead. I'm in. um, like heavily into Radiohead, heavily
Yeah.
into all these kind of like alt rock kind of bands,
Yeah.
and at the same time, really loving D'Angelo and
Okay.
Maxwell and Brandy and Tweet and this guy named Bilal, who's one of my favorite singers of all
All
time.
right.
So kind of hearing all of that just kind of messed with my head and put all these different inspirations in there, and
Yeah.
that kind of
Like
came
where
out.
where did Nine Inch like
Where that fit?
yeah, where does that even because I know like myself growing up as like angsty white teenager,
Mhm.
like, yeah, like, oh, I'm so angry and blah. Like, I don't know if that was just like teenager or I'm also trying to think of like when Nine Inch Nails, because they're a lot older of a band than
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realized. Like, they
Yeah, I think they
started in
started
the
in like that,
80s.
like 84. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
which
83,
is
84.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Insane.
like, where do you think that kind of like wove, wove,
Wolf
moving
its way.
into, I don't know. What is the
I
word?
honestly like infiltrated the system.
Yeah.
What is that? Um, honestly, when I think back, I don't even know how I got into Nine Inch Nails. I think I just
Is that maybe like
randomly discovered them one day.
that synth, like
The synth, oh, I mean, the
synth core? I don't
production
even know what
on
you would
Trent is
call.
amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
it's like prog
Okay.
rock synth
Yeah.
core. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I had heard of Trent Reznor when I was a little bit younger,
Hmm.
and then I don't know who introduced me to Nine Inch Nails. I think it just was one of those things. I was just discovering a bunch of different music,
Yeah.
and I
Just
got
that
into
moment in
them.
time.
Yeah, I think at the time I was like heavily into No Doubt and Incubus, and
Okay.
then from Incubus I kind of found out about Nine Inch Nails, and
We
then
could
from
talk
there I was
Incubus
like
all day if you want.
obsessed. Oh yeah, totally. I became obsessed with Nine Inch
Okay.
Nails, and then really heavily got into them. And I think the thing that really drew me to them was, I think I kind of identified with that feeling of internal angst of like
Okay.
not really understanding who I was, like a queer person, not really
Hmm.
understanding my relationship with my stepdad, not really understanding just my who I was.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of identified with the sound and the vibes and the feelings. And because at the end of the day, even though like a lot of the stuff that Trent is talking about is much darker than an experience than I've had, I think I really appreciated that there was this person that was just kind of
Able
like
to
fuck it,
say it.
like this is
Yeah.
how I feel, this is what
Yeah.
I'm going through, and I really identified with that.
Yeah. Now, would you
I love
say,
Trent Reznor.
like, do you think any of that's like filtered its way into your music now, or?
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's some things that for a while I was actually in a prog rock band. I
Oh,
was the
okay.
lead singer of it,
What was that?
and
What was the name of that band?
oh god, it
Duty?
was called Vas de France, as in
Voss?
the vast deference.
Okay.
I won't define that.
Gotcha.
That's what it is. But they had
I
been a band
gotcha.
for a while, and then their lead singer had left, and I was kind of looking for gigs
Okay.
to do. And then I actually found them on Craigslist,
Oh.
auditioned for them at their studio, and then got the gig. And so I kind of joined after they had been together for almost like
Hmm.
maybe 9 years already.
Yeah.
And it was great. And so I think coming out of that, I definitely still have some influence from Nine Inch Nails. I think a lot of it is like there's a darkness to it, and I appreciate that.
Hmm.
And the kind of like heavy drums and the
Yeah.
prog, with prog rock industrial kind of influence or production, I still love that. And
Yeah.
I'm constantly trying to find ways to sneak that into my little soulful voice.
Just maybe like a, I gotcha. Yeah, I think there was like a hot minute. I don't know, maybe we had watched something on Netflix about Nine Inch Nails or something.
Oh, it was that. It was probably that
Is it like
that
behind?
episode where they like kind of break down the songwriting.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
I
a
was
great
like, man, I
episode.
haven't listened to them in a long time. And
Yeah.
so there was like a whole solid week of just Nine Inch Nails. Cause like obviously growing up, you don't really know like, oh, head like a hole. That just sounds
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Right.
And they say cuss words sometimes. So
Right.
like we're really out here like living.
Right.
And I was like, but like what are their other songs? Like what are the ones that didn't get a music video or stuff like that? So it's cool to like see how that, yeah, how that kind of enters your space, and then
Yeah.
how like you can use that even now. Like when did you start going by Vince the Alien?
I started going by VINCETHEALIEN at the end of 2019.
Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, I gotta think because
So
time no
almost about
longer
2 years. I
matters.
know.
Yeah.
Time no longer matters. So basically
Yeah.
14 years at this
Okay.
point.
Wow.
Been
That's
sailing for
incredible.
14 years. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So, but yeah, it's cool. Like you also mentioned, um, like was music always playing in your house, or it
Oh yeah,
just always
definitely.
happened to? Because you
I
had
would
mentioned
say
like a lot of people like
yeah.
introducing you to just
all these
different
different type
artists
of
and
sounds.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for instance, for Sade, you know, my grandmother used to wake up at 6 a.m. on the daily and just kind
Okay.
of. I stayed with my grandparents a lot because my mom was a single mom for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a nurse, and so she was working at a hospital overnight.
Gotcha.
And so I stayed with my grandparents quite a bit, and my grandmother would get up every day at like 6 a.m. and I would get up with her because I just loved my grandmother so much. I still love my grandmother so much.
Yes.
And
Shouts
uh
to grandma.
shout out to grandma. And she would listen to like Sade or Luther Vandross or
Okay.
like Anita Baker at 6 a.m. Most of the time it was Sade.
Just
While she
waking
was
up to
like cooking or
grooves.
getting
Yeah.
exactly. And so music was definitely always playing. And for me, it was always playing. I really remember when I was really into Nine Inch Nails. My mom was like, I don't like that music you're listening to.
You
She's
don't
like,
get it, mom.
I know you want to be a musician, and so I'm going to respect it, but I don't like that music. But yeah,
Yeah.
music was always playing,
That's
always
cool.
blasting somewhere.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, like how with that like influencing you, how would you say that like who you are, how has that played into like I guess who you were growing up, how does that play into now like who you are as an artist, as
Yeah.
a person in the world, like sending things
Artistry.
into the world,
Yeah.
especially because that takes a lot of guts just in itself, just to like make something and then say, "Hey, everybody, like
Here.
here you go."
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still a scary feeling. And I've been
Yeah.
putting out songs for a while now. And I think a lot of it, and like I mentioned, I think growing up queer, I felt a lot different and I felt very misunderstood.
Mm,
I think I also didn't really understand myself very well. You know, my family is predominantly Christian, and I think growing up within Christianity and trying to
mm-hmm.
figure out who I am as a gay person just was really difficult.
Yeah.
So I hit
Considering what is
the
viewed
main
within the
viewed with it, yeah.
yeah.
And so I think kind of I hid myself a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of created my own world as a kid, like in my own head.
Uh,
And a lot of it was coming out through my music, and a lot of it was about me like trying to figure out who I was, trying to deal with my feelings around lust, my feelings around love,
mm-hmm.
trying just basically trying to figure out who I was, but all of it was so internal. And so for a long time I was really scared to kind of put this stuff out.
Yeah.
So I think it shows up in ways where excuse me. The nice thing about, you know, being Vince the Alien is it is this extension of like,
Okay. Like a persona almost.
yeah, almost, but
Yeah.
it's just like it, but it's like a genuine extension of
Yeah.
my creativity and this world that I created as a kid of me wanting to be in a different universe where I could understand myself and could be honest and be vulnerable. Whereas a kid, I was like scared to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of that shows up still in my music and me just trying to work through those feelings and try to understand myself more as I get older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, would you say like does that give you confidence or is there still like a little bit of like obviously with any sort of art like I feel like there's always a little apprehension like
Yeah.
no one especially now with like social media and
Mm-hmm.
like no one's going to see this, no one's even not that likes are the end of the day like
Yeah.
the currency
But no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I definitely
yeah.
feel that. I definitely understand that. I still deal with that pressure at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. The creativity aspect of it is not hard for me, and I love that. Like that's the thing that I
Okay.
like thrive in, like writing the songs,
Yeah.
recording the songs, coming up with like creative looks. You know, you and I will
Oh
work
yeah.
together, and
Yeah.
like I love that stuff. Like that
Check
stuff
out
is like
Vince's
amazing
Instagram.
to me.
It's got
The
some
stuff
looks.
that's I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He shot a bunch, so
Yeah.
shout out to Kyle. I think the hard thing about it is like, is that exactly what you brought up? I think there's this pressure that I think every artist feels of
Mm-hmm.
having to constantly create, constantly
Yeah.
be out there, constantly taking photos, constantly posting, constantly sharing, constantly connecting, constantly messaging. Like it's just so
Mm-hmm.
much pressure. And I am in no way saying that I've not felt that, because I definitely have felt that.
Yeah.
I think over the past year, I think I have been able to find a lot more balance with that feeling and
Okay.
feel a lot more confident about just like, you know what? I know what I'm good at,
Yeah.
and I'm going to honor that instead of constantly putting this pressure on myself. Because I ended up putting myself in this and putting so much pressure on myself where I was just putting stuff out because I felt like I had to,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes like posting on Instagram or being on Twitter or joining TikTok and all that stuff,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
as opposed to like really honoring like what is the thing that you love about this, like what gives you joy. And the thing that
Mm-hmm.
gives me joy is like writing the music, recording the vocals,
Yes.
singing 50 harmonies, and like doing a photo shoot to create some kind of visual look that's
Yeah.
attached to it. That's the stuff I love. So
Yeah.
like let me honor that more and then find a little bit more balance in the stuff that like is necessary, because
Mm-hmm.
it is a business,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah. You
doesn't need to
gotta.
like, it doesn't need to own you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I forget where I saw it, but it said like make stuff show people, and like it's always that
Mhm.
show people part that it just seems to like do we have to like
Yeah. No,
but
it's
then but
hard. I
then
feel you.
also especially now in the pandemic life that we live in,
Yeah.
it's like almost, I don't know if more important, but they're feel like we're always on the edge of like everything shutting down again. And
Hmm.
so like just constantly having to remind ourselves that like just send the tweet. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you don't have to
Yeah.
write The Great Gatsby. You can just
Right.
say here's the thing and then
You just
press
like gotta
send, you're
be out
good.
there. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's so nerve-wracking, but maybe that's just a I,
I think it's a scary feeling to kind of be like, to
yeah.
be vulnerable. And I think also, I think you made a good, you brought this up, but that fear of putting it out there and no one caring,
Mm,
and like
yeah.
having to struggle with that feeling. And I've definitely been there
Yeah.
where I put stuff out and I'm like, no one is gonna give a shit about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I'm just at a place now, thankfully. I don't know where I'll be in 6 months, but I'm at a
Hmm.
place right now
Yeah.
today where I'm like, I just love this and I'm just gonna put it out. And like if
That's
people
good.
respond to it, amazing. If they don't,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll suck a bit, but next,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, like a lot of your music is very like personal and
Mhm.
like hitting on themes and ideas and like that's very like I don't want to say heady, but there's the words aren't just words, I feel
Mhm.
like. I feel I can whenever I've listened to your songs, like I can maybe it's just cuz I know you and
Mhm.
like we've done creative things together. So like I kind of understand where you're coming from on
Mhm.
the music, but yeah, I would imagine like whatever thought and feelings and emotions you throw into your song and then you have to like here you go world. Like
Yeah.
I'm thankful I only take pictures cuz like I'm not I'm not bearing my soul in in a
In a way, yeah.
19 by 20-inch print. It's
Right,
like,
right.
and here you go,
Here, guys, just take it.
swipe past it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
Yeah.
enjoy it though because I think it's like a really cool opportunity to connect with people. I mean,
Mm,
I really have this great, I really built this like really cool kind of group of people that
yeah.
I know really rock with the music.
Okay.
And it's such a beautiful feeling to get like a DM from them and be like, hey, I listened to your new song and it's really dope. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so even if it's like, even if that gang is like 10 people, like it's just
Hmm.
like a really cool feeling that those people are listening to it. But I mean, it is still scary for sure, especially like the new music I'm coming out with this year.
Yeah.
it's a lot more vulnerable than the
Mark that
music I've
down,
made in
guys.
the past. Yes, yes. The first one comes out Friday.
It's Friday. Oh, perfect
1/21.
timing. It's as if we set this up for
As if we did. Yeah.
promo, and this is all part of the promo package.
It
We're going nationwide, baby.
Yeah, the first song comes out this Friday. And it's like it's a lot more personal, you know.
Yeah, even more so.
Yeah, a lot of stuff
Oh,
I'm
wow.
finding out this year's long because I think during the pandemic, even though it's still happening,
Mhm.
but during the big
Yes.
top of the pandemic,
Yes.
like I think it really pushed me to deal with a lot of emotions and a lot of fears and a lot of feelings, and a lot of that also in my therapist too, and my fear of being out there and putting my emotions out there more through my music and
Yeah.
being a lot more vulnerable. And I think um, I really wanted to challenge myself to really write songs that really deal with what I am dealing with because I know I'm not the only person dealing with it.
Got it.
And those feelings of like not feeling attractive, you know,
Mhm.
gaining weight during the pandemic, um, having relationships in the past that weren't reciprocated, like trying to figure out how to trust my own gut, trust
Yeah.
my own feelings, trust what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And a lot of that came out in the songs, and
Yeah.
I'm super excited about it. And I'm excited to
Yeah.
put them out there and just let
Yeah.
people kind of identify with them. But it's definitely scary still a little bit too, for sure.
Has like therapy helped you in that sense of like just going even like further into the, I guess, psychology of
Mm.
writing? Because honestly, I don't, I know I have a few friends that like write songs and whatnot, but like I don't even understand. I guess I don't know the process or um like where that would even stem from. Like, do
Yeah.
you like how would you say you, if you were to write a song right now,
Mhm.
this is your task. You got to write a song right now and record it all on Zoom.
All on Zoom.
Yes. But like where
Well,
do you even, are you stemming it from like an idea or like a feeling or both or what?
yeah, I think most of well, I have this really great producer. His name is Others 9000. He's
Okay.
amazing. And he basically what he does is he just like writes all these ideas. Like he'll like track wise. He'll
Mm-hmm.
just create like a bunch of tracks.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll send me like 40-minute tracks.
Dang.
And he'll just be like, can you pull tell me if you hear anything.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And he'll just send me stuff, and then I literally will be like, I like the, I'll listen, and if nothing comes to me, I'm like, cool, no.
Yeah.
And then just kind of keep going through. And then the songs I really hit, most of the time, I will grab my microphone and record it. Just kind of stream of
Just kind
conscious
of, okay.
ideas
Like
for like
Jay-Z.
an hour. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
just off the top,
Alien,
freestyle.
aka Baby
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Baby Jay-Z.
Yeah. Just like him.
Just like that. But yeah, I mean, so that's kind of my process. I mean, there's other times too, you know, that I'll sit down with friends and they'll play the keys or I'll play the keys and we'll just kind of come up with ideas.
Okay.
But most of the time it's me just doing like a stream of conscious, whatever kind of comes out, and then I'll listen to it later and kind of clean it up.
Nice.
But I mean, a lot of that, I think I know what I want to talk about as a singer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that makes it a little bit easier for me too. Like I know I want to always kind of talk about the struggle between love and lust, and whether that love and lust is like about
Yeah.
myself or for someone else, or and trying to manage what that feeling is,
Okay.
trying to figure out the difference between the two. So I think that kind of helps with the writing.
Yeah. Is that, would you say that's like the main theme or the main thing you're trying, if you were trying to like convey something or say something in your songs, would love and
Yeah,
lust be the
main two.
through line or the thread of?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I
Okay.
definitely think there's this kind of constant tension between the idea of
Yeah.
what lust means, what love means to me.
Yeah.
And even if that is like, what does like love of myself mean too?
Okay.
Or like, what is my relationship to my own feeling of
Yeah.
sensuality or feeling attractive or feeling,
Okay.
things like that. Like I think that's constantly this kind of through line
Yeah.
for sure within my music about that. And that's one thing going back to like the Nine Inch Nails thing. I think that
Yeah.
was like one thing I really loved about the Nine Inch Nails, because at the end of the day, even though it's dark, it's fucking sexy. Like the music
Yeah.
that they write is really sexy.
Yeah.
And like I felt that energy listening to their music a lot growing
Nice.
up.
Nice. That's cool. Cause yeah, I was trying to think as you were like saying the love and lust of and like just even the love of yourself. Like sometimes I think maybe this is just me, but like there can be some lust for yourself, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
sometimes you're like, yeah, I look good.
yeah.
And I'm gonna or like, oh man, that song I just made, that's
Made me feel
nice.
good.
Or whatever your art is. It's like, yeah, it's finding that it's weird how we're kind of taught like not don't like yourself, but maybe this is our generation thing. We're some old heads,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, why can't we just feel ourselves sometimes and be
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and that's
man, this
definitely feel good
jacket
about you.
is looking good. I'm looking good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna order this coffee now, and I'm gonna try to not have all the baristas fall in love with me. Like
Right, right.
it's like
I
it's
mean, goals.
yeah, yeah. Like you said, it's just like finding that line of almost like cocky and confident. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's that. But yeah, like why can't we ever just like take it that I think lust has, again, like you and I, we both grew up in like Christian families and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And so like lust is one of the seven deadly sins.
Right. It has such a
But
negative connotation
yeah,
to it. Yeah.
I would think like within those words, of course, there's like degrees and um we won't get into the whole theology of
Right.
well
Break down the
actually
whole
lust and blah, blah, blah. Like no one wants to no one wants to talk about that. But
right.
maybe we do. But because
But no,
yeah,
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think like, and that was the feeling I was somehow of like wanting to, those moments of when you want to feel good about yourself and being okay with that, but then
yeah,
also trying to discover within those moments and when you don't feel good about yourself, like why
true.
don't you feel good about yourself?
Yeah,
Like what is it about? What is the voice in you that's telling you that this particular thing is not good enough, or this
yeah,
particular thing is not attractive about you, or this particular you don't deserve to feel the amazing feeling of being wanted or
yeah,
desired of or found attractive. Like
yeah.
what is that feeling? And that's what I kind of try to battle with at times. Just like,
Hmm.
why do I have days where I'm like, yo, like, why are you being so negative to yourself? You
Yeah.
know?
It's strange. Like the
Yeah,
day
it's like
before,
you're
you could
being
just be on cloud nine, and then
yeah. The
you're
next day you're like,
yeah,
you're a piece of trash.
yeah, you're underwater. It's like what
Right.
happened?
Right.
Everything looks the same.
Right. Exactly.
What is going on?
And it's crazy because it is most of the time just like us in our own heads as a result of hearing certain things or seeing
Yeah,
certain type of beauty trends or being on Instagram and seeing hot people all goddamn day and
yeah.
just like, "Oh, I look
Gotta
nothing
stop
like that
following the
person."
hot people.
Exactly.
Uggos only. Uggos
Just
only.
unfollow.
Yes,
Yeah, no, definitely.
it's ridiculous. Don't quote me on that, anybody out there. Just yeah. Yeah. So
I
like,
mean, I definitely agree with you about unfollowing people that make you feel bad about yourself. So you're not like inundated with their followers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, everything is fake. Nothing is real.
Yeah.
So
Nothing is real.
don't believe it. Go
Don't
about your
believe the
day.
hype.
But yeah, like or in addition to, not besides, in addition to, is there anything else are there like other themes that you try to hit on, or like, especially like within the gay community? Like,
Mhm.
I only know as much as Queer Eye will let me in on. So I don't know. Apparently,
It's pretty diverse. So,
yeah, apparently the entire gay community just like flips houses and does makeovers for
for straight people,
Midwestern, yeah,
right?
men. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's
That's
multifaceted.
funny. It's multifaceted
Yeah.
for sure.
But like, do you ever feel like you have to like hit certain topics, or like are you trying to, not that you're catering to the audience, but do you ever find yourself, especially again within the social media age, like I feel like sometimes people will like, oh, this thing got some likes and some views and went viral, like so now I have to like
Like
do this
replicate
for the
that.
rest of my life, or
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one's going to care. Like, do you ever find yourself having to like dictate your art towards a certain
Like uh
audience,
group.
or not
Yeah.
audience, but like, I don't know, like
No, I get what you're saying. That's a good question.
yeah,
I think for me, no.
okay,
I'll be transparent. I think sometimes one of the struggles that I'm still working through
hmm,
is sometimes I still feel like I'm not queer enough, because
okay,
there is this, I see a lot of representation, which is beautiful and I'm very happy to
hmm,
see. I see a lot of representation of queerness in a specific way. And I don't think that my expression of that, of
yeah,
of queerness is that all the time. And and
hmm,
and that's through Instagram, which is like very micro.
yes,
um
yes,
it's a very small subset. And so I think for me, I'm continuing to work through therapy and
hmm,
like accepting that what I give is what I give,
gotcha,
and like and being who I am and being, a queer black man, like that's
hmm,
going to be present within my music. That's
yeah,
going to be present within my story. And that's enough. Like
yeah,
I think as a hard thing for us as artists, especially as queer artists, to kind of be in that middle zone of like, do I need to be this certain way? Do I need to look this certain way? Do I need to show more skin? Do I need to show more body? Do I need, like,
yeah,
I think all that stuff is hard. And I think sometimes too, as like an R&B, as a queer person who does alternative R&B, it, I don't see many people that uh express the way that I do, but I see a
hmm,
lot of artists that understand the type of thing that I do, which I
gotcha,
really appreciate. I think about like, the Frank Oceans or the Tyler the
hmm,
Creators or Steve Lacy's or the internet, Sid, um, all these artists that on some form or level are kind of on the spectrum of queerness.
yeah. Did not
It's,
know
it's
about
really
Steve Lacy.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah. It's really beautiful to
That's
see
cool.
all these types of artists that I can look up to and see, but also have the confidence of knowing like who I am is who I am, and I'm going to
Yeah,
express myself. And I'm excited to be a part of representation for the queer community, for the Black community,
yeah,
for artists. It's an exciting feeling, and I'm happy
yeah,
to be doing it the way that I'm doing it.
that's cool. It's cool because yeah, I was actually I was looking through the iTunes my playlist
Mhm.
the other day, and Steve Lacy popped up. I was like, man, I haven't listened to his songs in so long. And yeah, there's like nothing within his lyrics, I guess, that you're like, Matt, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like you mentioned, Tyler the Creator, Frank
Mhm.
Ocean,
Mhm.
like it's those ambiguous like lyrics. But then like once you kind of delve deeper in, you're like, oh, okay, like I could see how this can apply to different. And then yeah, it's also usually um especially with Tyler the Creator and Frank
Mhm.
Ocean, they just seem like creativity just, they wake up and
It
like, so
just
that,
pours out.
yeah, so that the fact that they can like find interesting and like layered ways of like speaking of themselves and
Mhm.
like their struggles or their journey. Like, I think that's what I've always appreciated about them. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, the music's dope, but like also the way they're telling their story
Yeah.
is very cool.
Yeah.
It's
No,
cool.
definitely.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love too. And I think that's why kind of what I was saying earlier about the thing I love about understanding what I find joy in
Mm-hmm.
the creative process is like creating the music, writing the songs, recording them, and then
Yeah.
creating that creative world around
That
it.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you said a great word, which is like storytelling, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
super important. And I think lyrically, I would say that's something that I try to do. The
Yeah.
storytelling through my lyrics, and same artists, same thing as like Frank Ocean and Tyler, and they all are really great at curating stories and crafting these stories that are genuine and authentic to them.
Yeah.
Um, and that's all I'm trying to do out here in the
Yeah.
streets.
I think I'll speak on behalf of myself, everyone in chat. Again, go check out Vince the Alien. But yeah, you're like when music drops, it's not just like here's a song. Like
Mhm.
no, you're getting visuals, you're getting the audio, obviously. Like you're getting almost like the build up to it's not that it's Michael Jackson level, but
Yeah.
like when he would when back in the day when he would drop a new video, it was like a thing. It was an
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
So like even your visuals for um do we want to say like you exploring another planet? Is that kind of the vibe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's me sort of like it's this idea of me looking at this planet,
Mm-hmm.
landing on it,
Got it.
exploring it, and
Got it.
then realizing that like this planet is me and all the answers I've needed are like
Ah,
right there. So it's me like exploring this new planet, this new blue
gotcha.
planet.
So you're
Yeah.
like a metaphorical billionaire trying to
trying
to
to
trying to leave
trying
Earth and
to
go to Mars. Okay,
yes,
I
I'm
see
trying
what
to
you're doing.
increase capitalism at the end of
Yeah,
the day.
I see what you're doing. Okay, that's the real heart of Vince the Alien. Just money, money, money.
money,
All
money,
these
money,
all these artists,
capitalism.
all these artists just want to make money, money, money. It's
I'm trying to be
ridiculous.
the next Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, Vince Bezos.
Vince Bezos.
Yeah, I must. Not that the shirt he wore like uh, a f- he was just getting dragged on Twitter for
Oh
whatever
my god,
shirt
I
he was
remember that.
wearing. I was
Yeah,
like, nah, bro,
not
come
it.
on, come
Not the
on.
one.
Talk to my man Vince. He'll get you hooked up with
Get you hooked up.
a baby blue snakeskin something. I'm trying to think of all the
Iconic.
outfits we've shot.
I know, so many good
Every
ones.
time we do a photo shoot, I'm like, what's he gonna bring today? Cowboy hat? I love it. Let's do it.
Done.
Let's do it. But yeah, I would think let's answer a few more questions. Again,
Yeah.
chat, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat and we will make Vince here answer them
Yes.
against his will.
Hold me to the fire.
Yes. Yes. Now, these are kind of just like more fun ones.
Cool. That sounds good to me.
I know we've gotten into like some heavy, like we want to leave the conversation on a lighter note.
Yeah.
So is there anyone, like I know you mentioned Tyler, the creator? Man, that's so hard to say because
Same.
I
3
got to
words.
focus on the R's. I got to
Yeah,
focus
it's
on
the
the R's.
R's.
Steve Lacy, Nine Inch Nails. Is there anyone like dead or alive, like whose brain you would just, like if you could grab coffee or whatever, like whoever you would want, just pick their
Oh,
brain.
wow.
I know, dead or alive. So that's basically everyone ever. Yeah. It's a lot to choose from.
That's a lot.
Or current, or like any current artist.
I mean, I would love to actually. I mean, you know what? I would love to talk to Dave Gahan. who is the lead singer of Depeche Mode.
Okay.
I don't know. He's always really interested me as a human
Yeah.
being. I would love to sit and talk with him.
Like, do you think you would want to talk like music or like just,
I think I would probably want to talk more philosophy.
yeah?
It's really funny. I know this is odd being a singer and an artist, but one
Yeah.
of my least favorite conversations is like sitting around and talking about
Talking
the
shop.
third or the fifth note that somebody
Yeah.
hit in a song. It's just like,
That's like
but I do
camera gear
love,
with myself. It's like,
yeah,
I don't
exactly. It's
care.
like, but I do get excited about vocalists. Like if
Okay.
someone were to be like, yo, let's talk about uh What About Us by Brandy and the riff that she does at the end of the track.
Okay.
We'll be like, yes, let's talk about it because it's
How does she
great.
do it?
Right, right.
Alicia. You could ask her in.
That's not exactly.
Yeah.
Look at that full circle.
Hey, and we're out. Thank you. Oh, so let's see. Do you have any advice for like anybody? Just like maybe not for music
Mhm.
in particularly, but like just artistry, like finding your voice. Because I know for like a lot of artists, it seems they're always they're just out there wandering. Like,
Yeah.
I'll write this song and then I'll write the next song that sounds nothing like the previous song or
Yeah.
stuff like that. Would you have any advice? Let's say with finding your voice within your art
Mm.
or your creativity.
I would say be patient with yourself.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because it does take time.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
like I said, I was in my band for a while and I was kind of going by my name for a while. And it took me a while to kind of get to in the back of my head, I've always known what I wanted to sound like.
Yes.
But it took me some time to get to a place where I could step back and be like, oh, this is what I've been like thinking about
Yeah.
for the longest time. And now it's actually here.
That's always the struggle too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It lives inside my brain. Now,
Yeah.
how do I get it at least into a space where I can like tinker with it and
Yeah.
like that always seems like one of the biggest hurdles almost. It's like I know what I want to do, but
Definitely.
like how do I
Actually
get there?
execute it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I would definitely say be patient with yourself. And I think another thing too is understand that people are always going to have an opinion
Mhm.
about your work or about what you should be doing and it
Mhm.
all comes from everyone's experiences. So
Yeah.
like try to really not take it personal. Like
Yeah.
try to take what you can from it, the grains of salt that you can, but really try to work on not taking things personally.
That makes sense.
And that's hard, but
Yeah,
it helps a lot.
that makes sense. Because it's people have opinions.
People have opinions.
And yeah, you gotta I think that's part of the learning process as well. Like just any art inspire or any endeavor involving art. Like
Yeah.
I think especially now people are so used to praise. Like, oh, I
Mhm.
got the likes. But like when's the last time you had someone critique or like talk about your work?
Yeah.
I thankfully like growing up I was in the art program. I somehow entered like this photo contest. I was like,
Mhm.
I'm hot stuff. Let me
I
enter this
got
photo
this.
contest. And then the whole entire time they're like, yeah, these are okay. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Like, damn.
okay. Well, I didn't want to hear that, but it was definitely like something that was needed to be heard because,
Yeah.
yeah. But if they're
Yeah,
just
no, definitely.
hating, thankfully
Yeah,
these were
that's a
like
different thing.
these were like art teachers, and so they weren't just
Yeah.
like.
I mean, but
"Eh,
that's a
these
good
are-"
point. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it's important to be open to people that like that's why I say like taking those grains of salt,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I've had a lot of people say to me, hey, like you sound good doing this, but it doesn't sound the best when you do this. And
Oh,
at that
okay.
time, I was like, what? But then now, as I've gotten
Yeah.
older, I really take that and I'm like, you know what, that's actually really good.
Yeah.
Or another example, which is kind of random, but sometimes people will be like, oh man, when I listen to your music, you remind me so much of blank.
Yeah.
And I'm in my mind, I'm like, I don't sound anything like that
Yeah.
person.
How dare you?
But then I started to think about it from the perspective of like, oh, well, if this person is hearing this artist,
Mm-hmm.
then that means, oh, cool. Like maybe somebody who listens to this artist would listen to my kind of music. So maybe I
Oh,
should
yeah.
cater my music to not the sound, but
Yeah.
like maybe I can introduce my music to that type of fan base too.
To a different
Instead of taking
audience.
it personal, like I don't like that
It's
artist.
like,
Why are you saying I sound like this person
yeah,
already?
that makes sense.
But a good point about like, yeah, having the people around you that actually like have a trust
Yeah.
that you have a trust with and are coming from a good place, even if they're giving you constructive
Mm-hmm.
criticism.
Yeah. Word of advice to young artists, like seek critique. It's
Mhm.
okay. It's not gonna, it might go again. It might, I don't want to say hurt your feelings, but if you go into it knowing that some people might have some like, not criticism, but some things that you didn't notice, or
Mhm.
just a different viewpoint on your stuff. Because honestly, you're most likely just looking at your own stuff, hearing your own stuff,
Yeah,
and like
100%.
it becomes not an echo chamber, but like you need some fresh eyes
Yeah,
to go kind of comb through. Don't be afraid.
yeah, that's perfect.
But yeah, but yeah. Someone in chat here says or ask, aside from music, what are other types of art that inspire you?
Like that.
Yeah.
I write a lot of poetry.
Okay.
And I think that really ends up influencing a lot of my songwriting. Because I
Yeah.
think most of the time I write a lot of poetry, and then when others 9,000s will send me some music, I'm like, oh, I wrote this poem. Let me try to sing this poem over it and try to make it
Yeah.
work. Um,
Would you say that's
I
kind of like your like a musical sketch pad almost? Like
Yeah,
you're just getting
almost.
ideas out and
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. I think I'm like writing down whatever I'm dealing with or feeling and trying to make it into a poem, like writing it into a poem setting
Hmm.
or a short story, and then that kind of sets up these feelings of
Yeah.
if others sends me things, I'm like, oh, cool, I can pull from this really quick because I've been dealing with this feeling lately. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Actually, musical sketchpad.
Musical
Um,
sketch pad.
I like
Copyright it, trademark it.
that. There you go.
No
I
one else
think
can say it.
other art. I mean, I don't know if other people consider this an art, but if you can see all of this, I would definitely say taking care of plants. It's definitely an
My
art.
wife and I would consider that an art since all of our plants die. So
I just come over and help you
yeah,
guys.
the fact that you have a lush
Flourishing
greenery back
situation.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I love plants. It teaches me a lot about patience. It teaches me a
Yeah.
lot about like they've taught me a lot about being okay with um taking time to not exert
Okay.
energy as much as like you got to have a time to kind of recharge. So yeah, I
Hmm.
would definitely say taking care of plants has been art for me too.
Cool. All right. Last question.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favorite cereal?
Oh, good question.
Because again,
I mean,
this whole
this
series
may
is
end our
about the
friendship.
why. Yeah. Gotta know
My
what's going
favorite
in you to
cereal.
come out of you.
Um, I mean, growing up, I
Yeah.
loved Captain Crunch,
Okay.
but
Just
not the
straight
boxes,
vanilla.
the circle Captain Crunch, because the boxes rip the top of your mouth.
Oh yeah. They are kind of like
They're kind of
chewing on
harsh.
rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I'm also a really old man. I love raisin bread.
Wow. Okay.
You can judge me. I throw extra
Judge free
raisins in
zone.
it with almond milk, not regular
Okay.
milk,
There you
and
go.
I'm set for the day.
See, that's the adult thing. The
Yeah,
almond milk.
it's,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, cool.
What's your favorite cereal?
Oh man. Oh man. Well, my doctor says it should be Cheerios. That's 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 what he says. Man, that I'm gonna have to go Reese's peanut butter crunch.
Okay.
Get a little bit of, well, like describing flavor. You get a little bit of peanut butter and a little bit
A
of
little bit of
chocolate.
chocolate.
It's like, no, it's just all sugar
It's all
wafers. It's
sugar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I can really taste the difference. But yeah, but honestly, like any cereal that turns the milk into chocolate milk,
You're
I'm
in.
good with.
So,
Yeah.
what would you say your least favorite cereal?
Oh, least favorite. I ooh, I wouldn't. I don't know. I say fruity pebbles.
Done. Agreed.
Yeah, it
It
just
gets too
turns.
soggy.
Yeah, it turns into paper mache
Disgusting. Yeah.
paste, and then you're just
It's
like, what am I
disgusting.
eating? Wet
What am I
leaves?
eating? Yeah,
What
exactly.
is this?
Wet
Gross.
leaves.
Yeah, y'all can quote me on that one
We
for
won't
sure.
be getting any Fruity Pebbles sponsorships anytime
Yeah,
soon.
no. General Mills is like, well, we liked them, but
But no.
this guy's gonna get us canceled. So, but cool. Well, yeah. One more time, where can people find you on the World Wide Web?
On the www. You can find me on Instagram at Vince the Alien, Spotify, and Apple Music, Vince the Alien. And also you can check out my website, which is vincethealien.space.
Y'all heard that, right?
vincethealien.space.
Dot space.
Yes.
Like
you
I
can check it out.
said.
You can join the Alien Gang, sign up. We'll send you some music.
Like I said, you're not just getting music, you're getting everything from the URL to the visuals,
Yes.
then the music and everything else.